board will start the meeting in a few moments. They're scheduled to start at 2 p.m. Just a few pieces of information. If you are a member of the public, you will see that you can observe the meeting, but your microphone and video are off during the meeting. There are two places for public participation. One is at the beginning under public forum, and under public forum, you may address the board on a topic that's on the agenda, and you can request to participate in public forum prior to the meeting start. If you enter your name in the chat box that's on the on the bottom of your screen in the middle, if you click on chat, if you wish to address the board, you can type your name in there. The chat will be disabled during the meeting, and then it will be turned back on at the end of the meeting during question period. So again, if you wish to address the board on any topic related to the question period. In addition, you'll see next to the chat there is a Q&A box, and if you click on that box, it pops up with a little question area where you can type in your question, and if the question is about process or if it's something that staff can answer to assist you during the meeting, we will do that. Otherwise, if it is a question for the board, that question will be addressed at the end of the meeting through the chair. So again, if you do wish to address the board on a topic on the agenda, then you just enter your name in the chat. And just for the board information, not sure if you're aware, on the bottom of your screen, you'll see the participants item there. If you click on that, you can see there are two sections, one section for panelists and one section for attendees. So if you wish to see the individuals that are participating in the meeting, you can click on the attendees tab at the top and you see the public that has joined the meeting this afternoon.
waiting for Carmen.
Carmen is here. She will be just.
Oh, there she is.
Yep.
I am. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear? Okay, good. Is that loud enough?
Yep. I can hear you. I'm not quite sure about everybody else.
Okay. I'm going to turn it on mute again because I'm actually.
Okay, we heard that. Okay, so I'll get this meeting started here. Larry should be joining us in a few seconds. So we're to have the open meeting, and I'll read the top of our agenda. The board is committed to providing a safe and respectful environment. The board expects all participants to model respectful communication in order to foster positive relationships and build understanding between all school district partners. So I'll put that out there. The other thing I wanted to remind trustees is on any item, we have a time limit of 5 minutes for discussion. And do we have any on public forum, Linda?
Yes, we have received a request from Juanita Little.
Juanita Little, just the one?
Yes, so we will enable her microphone if now is the time.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so I'll call the meeting to order and recognize that we are all sitting on the territories of the Xtlatlim, Tlakepma, and Chouepma people, and thank them for allowing us to live, love, and laugh in their territories. And now we can go on to public forum. Juanita.
Hello. Hi, I'm Juanita Little. I'm the Ashcroft Hub Society Chair. I just wanted to speak to you today on the item on the agenda for the disposal process for the Ashcroft Elementary School. The school district's property disposal process began on January 5th of this year, making the first 2 months of this year quite a blur of conversations and planning and meetings and adapting operations on top of then all the COVID stuff that we've had to adapt as changes go in society with numbers and everything. During the feedback process, we've heard from many persons and organizations and from multiple communities, and it's been heartwarming to hear the overwhelming support for the charitable work of the Ashcroft Hub Society and the passionate pleas to keep services, programs, and resources in the building from which we currently operate. The disposal process has been a good reminder of how important publicly owned buildings are to rural communities. We've been reminded that it is essential that communities have continued public use of the building. It is for this specific purpose that the Ashcroft Hub Society exists. It was built by the community for the community to meet the community needs that we have so far met. The Society's mission is to provide a public amenity by operating and maintaining a multi-use recreational facility and to undertake activities ancillary and incidental to the attainment of the above mentioned charitable purpose. It is important to remember that the building that is up for disposal is a publicly owned building, and the public have said that they want the building to remain in use as it is today under the direction of the Ashcroft Hub Society. We would like to reiterate for the board that over the past more than 5 years, the Ashcroft Hub Society has cared for and maintained most of the operations and expenses of the building, including more than $30,000 per year in utilities costs, and that's for every year that we've been in there for the last 5, more than $6,000 per year in insurances, more than $50,000 per year in building and grounds upkeep, security, and maintenance, and $250,000 in building upgrades. We've committed to caring for the building and have tried to improve the building any which way we can being in there. We believe in keeping the building accessible for communities. We also believe that we have a proven record that we can be trusted to care for and maintain this public property. We hope that our passion for the community and hard work in caring for the property speak to how important remaining in the building to continue to serve the community is to us and the people and the organizations in the area. Based on the feedback you have received, you have a decision to make. We do not want the community to have to go through this process again. As an organization with the good business practices, we need to know how to plan for the future. So we ask that with whatever decision you make today, that it will provide the community and our organization clear direction for where we to go from here. To be specific about what we believe in is the best interest of the community, and based on their feedback, we recommend the following action: that the school district transfer ownership of the former Ashcroft Elementary School to the Ashcroft Hub Society, and that this transfer of ownership be gradual based on the hub's readiness to take full ownership or the end of the current lease, 2025, whichever comes first. I appreciate you listening to us, our views, and have a good meeting.
Thank you, Juanita. Okay, we'll carry on. That was public forum, and we have approval of the agenda. Nancy? Were you adding 611?
Sorry, I forgot I was muted. I'm actually missing a page here that I had written down. So yes, I would like to add 611, the board meeting format from now until the end of June.
Yep.
For discussion, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So approval of the agenda as presented, as amended, sorry. Nancy, second Larry. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Approved. Okay. Approval of the consent agenda. That the consent agenda be approved as presented. Mover. Aura, second Nancy. Discussion. This is numbers 5 to 8. See none. All those in favor? That's carried. That's the consent. Sorry. We had to kill a tree because I don't have 2 computers to do this work. Business 6.1, Kumsheen. Okay. No, I don't know how to say it.
Shamamit.
The Kumsheen.
Shamamit.
Shkamamit? Shkamamit. Donna?
Shkamamit.
Shkamamit. Okay. Shkamamit. Okay. So the Kumsheen Shkamamit School water and sewer right of way. This is a bylaw. It has to be read 3 times. So the board will review the water and sewer right of way with the corporation of the village of Lytton for access to the Kumsheen Shkamamit, formerly the Kumsheen Secondary School. And the first recommendation is that School District 74 Gold Trail Kumsheen Shkamamit, formerly Kumsheen Secondary School, water and sewer right-of-way bylaw 2021 be given all 3 readings at tonight's meeting. I need a mover. Nancy, second. Donna. And any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? That motion is carried. Recommendation that School District number 74 Gold Trail, Kumsheen Shkamamit, formerly Kumsheen Secondary School, water and sewer right-of-way bylaw 2021 be read a first time the 2nd day of March 2021. A mover, please. Vicky, Aura, seconds. All those in favor? That motion is carried. Recommendation that School District number 74 Gold Trail, Kumsheen Shkamamit, formerly Kumsheen Secondary School, water and sewer right-of-way bylaw 2021 be read a second time the 2nd day of March 2021. A mover? Larry had his hand up last time. Aura and Larry? Larry seconds. And discussion, Linda.
The bylaw is attached to your agenda, and as you can see on page 10, it does provide the purpose of the bylaw, which it, by passing this bylaw, it permits the village to construct and maintain water and sanitary sewer works and related works to service the property. And so the bylaw grants the statutory right-of-way to the village, access to the property, and to support the infrastructure that is there in order to support the school.
Okay, and then at the bottom, you'll see that the bylaw that the secretary treasurer will be authorized on behalf of the board to execute and deliver all documents. So that was the last part of it. So that's the report from our secretary treasurer. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? That motion is carried. Recommendation that school district number 74 Gold Trail, Kumsheen, Shkumameet, formerly Kumsheen Secondary School, Water and Sewer Right-of-Way Bylaw 2021 be read a third time, passed and adopted the second day of March 2021. A mover, please. Vicky, second. Donna? Is that Donna? No, Nancy? Sorry. All those in favor? That motion is carried. Sorry. On to 6.2, bylaw 1.1, procedural bylaw monitoring. And February bylaw 1.1, procedural bylaw received first and second reading. This is the third reading. Recommended motion that bylaw 1-1 procedural bylaw be read a third time, passed and adopted the second day of March 2021. A mover, please. Nancy, second Larry. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? That motion is carried. 6.3, policy 1.40, trustee remuneration. This is monitoring. In February, policy committee reviewed policy 1.40, trustee remuneration. Recommendation that the Board of Education adopt policy 1.40, trustee remuneration as presented. Mover? Vicky, second. Larry? Any further discussion? This is page 28 to 30. No further discussion? All those in favor? That motion is carried. 6.4, policy 4.30, First Nations Parent Club and monitoring. In February, policy committee reviewed policy 4.30, First Nations Parents Club. The recommended motion is that the Board of Education adopt policy 4.30, First Nations Parents Club as presented. Mover? Aura, second. Donna? Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? That motion is carried. 6.5, policy 8.90, employment equity human rights exemption monitoring. In February, policy committee reviewed policy 8.90, employment equity human rights exemption. Recommended motion is that the Board of Education adopt policy 8.90, employment equity human rights exemption as presented. A mover, please. Nancy, second. Aura. Any further discussion? See none. All those in favor? That motion is carried. 6.6. Former Ashcroft Elementary School property consultation information. The board will review the information received during the community consultation meetings. Pages 33 to 90. This is for discussion, and as senior staff will lead the discussion.
Valerie, I'll just declare again that I have a conflict, so I won't participate in this conversation.
Thank you, Vicky.
So as Chair Adrian has stated, the agenda information is included on page 33 to 90. As the board is aware, at the January 5th open board meeting, you approved proceeding with the process to gather information on the potential disposal of the former Ashcroft Elementary School property. You can see that the board has received responses in response to this request. Survey results, 148 responses. Correspondence, which includes letters and emails, 45. three meetings were held on this topic. The public meeting that had community members attending along with board representatives. The board representatives met with the Ashcroft Hub Board of Directors, as well as the Village of Ashcroft Mayor and Council. Upon reviewing the responses indicated on the agenda are percentages of what we have sort of categorized as themes of responses. So 35% indicated a transfer to the society, the Ashcroft Hub Society, for either free, $1, or fair market value. 35% indicated support for the Ashcroft Hub Society remaining without commenting on a specific preference of what this structure would look like. 20% indicated honoring the lease that is in place or proceeding with a 10-year lease. And 10% indicated sale to the highest bidder or to delay the entire process. As stated in the agenda, there are several options for board consideration regarding property disposal, and they're listed there in the agenda. And also at the bottom of the memo are considerations. So options 3 to 5, which are listed on your agenda, would require ministerial approval. So those include any formal disposal through a long-term lease being 10 years or more, disposal of the property through a sale or transfer in fee simple for a nominal fee, or sale of the property for market value. All of those three require ministerial approval. If you do formally dispose of the property, part of the requirement is an appraisal must be submitted along with the submission to the minister. So we have provided you with the tax assessment, and the most recent one that is available was it showed an assessed value of $4 million. What's interesting with that is that in 2018, it was assessed at 1.8 million, and over the last few years, it's now at an assessed value of 4 million. What we know based on our experience with other assessed values is that doesn't necessarily indicate a market value. I thought it was interesting when I asked the question once about another property is how do you determine market value? And the response was market value is based on what the market will bear as a price that people will pay. So what an appraisal does is really looks at what would be a price that if the board put it up for disposal, what would the market bear? And then if no action is taken, the current lease with the Ashcroft Hub Society ends effective at the end of August 2025, and at some point prior to that date, a determination or decision would need to be made regarding the status of the property.
Okay, we'll try start a speakers list here if folks would like to get on the speakers list. Larry?
Yes, I've reviewed the information and I see that it is supported as well by the Ashcroft Indian Band. I appreciate the myriads of information and the communications by the Ashcroft Hub Society. I believe that we've set precedent by transferring properties for good purposes, and so I would really support number 4, disposing of the property through a sale or transfer in fee simple for a nominal fee to the Ashcroft Hub Society. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. Nancy? Did we lost Carmen?
Yes. I'm not sure. She's there, I think.
No. She's there, yeah.
Yep.
I am here.
Oh.
Was Larry's comment a motion?
No.
Yes, I'd like to make that a motion.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I second Larry's motion.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Larry, you want to speak to it? You can open it. And did you get that motion, Jill?
Yes, I made a few points that I believe it has, the Ashcroft Hub Society has a full support of the broad community. They have very good programs and services. They have the support of the Ashcroft Indian Band. I believe it's in a place that does have market value, but as noted, for the benefit of the Hub Society and their programs and services for future sustainability, I would move that we transfer it for a nominal fee, or transfer it for a nominal fee, so that we do not put the Hub Society under big pressure to come up with a market value. I believe that we've set precedents in the past of transferring properties for good reasons and for good educational public purposes, and I would support this move as well. Thank you.
Hey, Carmen, I can't see you putting a hand up because you're not on the video. So did you have anything to add? I have you, Aura.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me properly, and I'm very happy to be able to join the meeting under kind of a little bit of a pressured situation with my family. I would like to amend the motion. The amendment would be adding the words, and that staff provide further information at the April board meeting about possible considerations to ensure that taxpayers and future board interests are maintained in the disposal of the former Ashcroft Elementary School property to the Ashcroft Hub Society.
Okay, you'll probably have to read that again so Jill can get it and put it up on the screen.
Okay, I have provided staff with a written copy on email, and the only change that is proposed is that this is an addition, an amendment to the motion that we are discussing, plus adding the words to the Ashcroft Hub Society at the end of what I said, but I can say the entire thing again if you'd like.
Oh, we're waiting for it to come up here.
We're just in the process of adding it.
Coming up to Cherry Creek.
We may lose you in there, Carmen. If we do, then we'll wait for you to come back.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. And
Okay,
if we lose you, then I know in Cherry Creek, I usually service. So.
Well, I think I've got my driver pulling over here, so there won't be any issue because this is kind of such an important issue for my community.
Okay, we have the amendment that Carmen has moved, and that the staff provide further information at the April board meeting about possible considerations to ensure that taxpayers and the board's interests are maintained in a disposal of the former Ashcroft Elementary School property.
Now, I also propose, I don't know if it's needed, but adding to the wording to at the end of the amendment, it should say former Ashcroft Elementary School property to the Ashcroft Hub Society, period. And then once we have it really clear, I will speak to it.
Okay, we need a seconder actually. Now that it's up and everybody sees it, do we have a seconder for the motion? I do not see a second for the motion. Oh, Larry.
I thought Larry seconded.
No, he did the motion, the original motion. This is an amendment. So speaking to the amendment only, Carmen, you're up.
Okay. The reason for the amendment is that in the past, the school district sold Coppervale Elementary School, and under some kind of legal and kind of transactional matters that occurred, the property became commercialized, even though the board did not get a fair price for the property because the board didn't expect that the property would become a commercial property and that companies would make money from it. I'm just trying to ensure that the same situation doesn't occur for the board in this situation, that we need to remember that it is our duty as a board to support the community, and I totally support the Hub Society to have this property, this building, and I think they need the field for their activities as well. But I do think that as a board, we need to ensure that we've dotted the I's and crossed the T's for the community, for our interest as a board, for the community interest of taxpayers, so that an accidental commercialization of the property in the future could not occur without the money coming back for our students like it did with the Coppervale property. So this is just asking staff to do a little homework, deeper homework about, okay, if we have a property disposal at a nominal price to the Hub Society, then let's make sure that in that agreement that not only would the board get the property back if the Hub Society no longer required the property, or if the Hub Society needed to themselves dispose of the property, and I certainly hope this never would occur, but that the board would retain rights to be able to sell the property at a time in the future for fair market value if the property became unused by the Hub Society in the future. So that the board ensures that we're keeping as many dollars as possible for our students, our programs, and our existing schools that are open. And because I was attempting to put that information in a motion, I just decided that it may be best to have staff do that research, which they haven't done yet, and to bring that information back to the board so that at an open meeting we can, or at the appropriate meeting, that we as a board can move ahead in a smart, good way where we don't accidentally get ourselves into the same situation that has happened in the past. So that's the reason for my motion, and I just feel that we don't have all the information and all the reassurances that we as a board require to do this correctly. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen. Larry, you seconded that. Do you have anything further to add?
No, I was thinking about the board's interest, and I agree on that point that in the event that the society is not operating, that our purposes, original purposes for the transaction transfer, that we have the right to as Carmen mentioned, have it available for other purposes. So I agree with that motion. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Aura or Donna, anything to add to
Yeah.
just the amendment? Just the amendment. Aura.
I'll ask my question and you can tell me if it applies. I'm not sure. My question was that the amendment is about the sale or transfer and fee simple, but it's within the category that we'd have to run by the ministry. So I'm just wondering about timelines, like where that gets checked first, or if we do all the work and we choose this, they can still say they wouldn't accept it.
Okay, that'll come under the original motion then. Okay. Save your question. Donna, anything for the amendment? No, okay. Nancy?
Thank you. Insofar as the amendment, I half-heartedly agree to this, but I will wait for the whole motion to go forward before I finish speaking, please.
Okay, thank you. So we have an amendment on the floor, and the amendment reads, and that staff provide further information at the April board meeting about possible considerations to ensure that taxpayers and the board's interests are maintained in a disposal of the former Ashcroft Elementary School property to the Ashcroft Hub Society. Moved by Carmen, seconded by Larry. All those in favor?
Favor.
Okay, that motion is carried. Thank you. Now we're back to the main motion. And the main motion reads that the Board of Education support disposal of the property through a sale or transfer in fee simple for a nominal fee to the Ashcroft Hub Society, and that staff provide further information at the April board meeting about possible considerations to ensure that taxpayers and the board's interests are maintained in a disposal of the former Ashcroft Elementary School property to the Ashcroft Hub Society. And the mover was Larry. Do you have anything to add, Larry?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay, and who seconded that? Okay, Aura had a question.
Yeah, now I have two. So one was about the ministerial ability to accept or deny our request and kind of the timeline around how we figure that into our decision making. And then the second one is here in the first part of this motion, it's saying that we will do this and then we will ask for information. Is that how the motion reads?
That's how it reads to me. So, Linda, do you have any recommendations for us?
Well, I read it as one motion. It is combined. So how I read it is that there is initial support for a transfer in fee simple to the Ashcroft Hub Society. However, you've asked for further information about the taxpayer and board interests, about what that would look like in order to support taxpayers and the board's interests.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure, that we weren't getting ahead of ourselves by making a decision and then getting the information. So yeah, as long as the motion reads correctly. And what about the ministerial ability to refuse?
Yeah, that's a process that you go through. There's a number of things that you would provide, and one of those pieces is around community consultation. You would include any appraisal. You include just the listing of information. And then it is a process that the minister and it would advise one way or the other. If the minister has any questions, then normally the ministry staff would contact us to see if there is any additional information that could be provided. It's normally a pretty straightforward process, but of course there's something that could come up.
Onward. Donna, do you have any questions on the motion? No. Okay, Nancy?
Thank you. First, two questions to Linda. If by any chance the roof were to cave in tomorrow, would the hub's insurance cover that, or would it be just up to somebody to repair?
The lease currently states that any facility issues would be under the responsibility of the hub. And the hub society does have insurance, so whatever the issue was would need to be addressed by the hub.
Okay, thank you. And insofar as this motion going forward, in that information, I would like to request that because we'll have to go through ministry anyway, to have the appraisal done so that we can see it at next meeting. Is that possible?
Yeah, we could initiate the request. I don't have any sense of timelines at this point, but we could initiate that request and request that it be provided by that time frame.
Thank you. Now, I want to speak to the motion itself. It seems like my questions have been answered. And I totally love the hub. I love what they do and what they support. And I like that the community engagement and the community feature it has in it. But as a Board of Education, I believe our main responsibility is to our learners. And it's the students, the buildings, the staff, the entire district of students and learners that we have to support. And I don't see how turning over properties for a nominal fee would benefit any of these other communities in any way, shape, or form. We cannot say that we have vast amounts of money that we can do anything we want throughout the district. And I think that giving away property, and I understand with Carmen's motion there, that if they were to dispose of it, that we would get it back. I'm more worried as to what kind of shape we're getting it back in. No offense to the hub, I'm sure they will be looking after it. They are doing upgrades, etc. But I'm worried about in the 10, 15 years that it is done. It is an older building still. It is still being carried on. And I do believe that it's a community hub, and I do believe that the hub needs to be looking more to their community, to their local government, to their regional government, insofar as getting funding and putting it up for fair market value. And I prefer the the fifth. I'm just got to check through my. It was number 5, dispose of the property through a sale or transfer. Oh no, for market value. And that is, to me, the fair way of doing this. I cannot see turning over thousands of dollars, potentially thousands of dollars, to a community for a community hub, when our schools and our staff and our students can all use extra money through many different possibilities that we may want to put together. While members of the board act as a representative of their communities, their primary job is to participate in governance and on site in the interest of all students in the district. And I don't believe that we are providing a service to all students in the district. And I don't believe that we're actually providing in that respect. So I'm just saying I am not in favor of this motion, and I will not be supporting it. I love the hub. I've used it myself, but I do not believe that it should be just handed over for fee simple. I think we're doing the rest of the district a big disservice by doing this.
Okay, is there any who hasn't spoken? The only one that hasn't spoken is Donna. If you have anything before I go on.
Just a point of order. There was in the chat there a question about a seconder. Was there a seconder on this motion?
Oh, yeah, we don't respond to the chats in there.
Yeah. So there wasn't a second.
Carmen.
Carmen? Okay, thank you.
Carmen for the main motion.
There was a seconder for both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Teresa wants to answer this, Valerie.
Teresa?
Oh, no, sorry, I don't. I'm just responding to the Q&A.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. And you will respond to the Q&As there, Teresa. Thanks. Okay. For me, we've had some property in the Lillwood area that went up for sale, and we did get some good prices for them, and that those funds were used for our or to be used for our students. And um, I'm having trouble with this because we do have a letter in there from Brad V's or whatever his name is, Vis or V's, and he's talking about trying to find funding for the hub to purchase the property. So it feels like we're jumping in because we all love the hub and we all want to help the hub and we all want to help the community. But we have to really, like Nancy was saying, we really do have to consider the students in the Ashcroft area. And I feel like we're putting the cart before the horse here without having, even more information, like what is the appraised value of the building. We have in here the what's it called, the property's market value is different from the appraised value. So the recent tax assessment says it's 4 million. That's a lot of money. And really, do we expect the hub to raise $4 million? I don't know how good Brad is, but we have and if this went for sale, who's to say that the Indigenous communities wouldn't be interested in the property as well? Right now they're supporting the lease that we have on the property, but if it was for sale, would their mind change on how to dispose of it then? The third part was, we have this group that's coming in and building a port there, and they'll need buildings as well for the work they do. And could we get fair market value? I don't know if we can or not. And I'm just concerned that we jump in because our hearts are telling us to do this before we get all of the information that we need for this. So that's where I'm coming from here. And nothing against the hub, nothing against you, Larry or Carmen. It's just that I need more information before I make a decision like this. Thank you. And Carmen, you can close. No, Larry. No, it's Larry, sorry.
Yes, I knew that we would enter into a lot of discussion on this, but I thought I would start it off by promoting, I thought, probably the best options in a win-win. I'm always open to looking at the market value, but then you open it up to other potential commercial endeavors or, I guess, applications towards this. So I will, looking at the millions of dollars, $4 million potential value, I'm speculating that it's not going to be quite that much, and just like to go with the supporting the community, the broad interests of the community and programs and services, and make it the most, I guess, the simplest transaction that we can in supporting the community. I hear you on the potential of raising $3 or $4 million and allocating that to the rest of the district programs and services. But in this case, I'm willing to support the hub in this one. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Larry's closed, so we have a motion, and I need to find it again. 1 second. The motion is that the Board of Education support disposal of the property through a sale or transfer in fee simple for a nominal fee to the Ashcroft Hub Society, and that staff provide further information at the April board meeting about possible considerations to ensure that taxpayers and the board's interests are maintained in a disposal of the former Ashcroft Elementary School property to the Ashcroft Hub Society. That is the motion. And all those in favor of this motion?
Carmen in favor.
Okay. Opposed? Nancy. Nancy?
And
Okay.
I think Linda wanted to speak. I'm not sure.
Linda?
I just saw 3 in favor and 2 opposed.
Okay. I was kind of looking around trying to figure out what was happening here. Okay. And Donna, did you were abstaining?
Yes, because I'm confused about the direction, sale, transfer, nominal fee, so.
Okay, is that a tie, Linda?
I heard abstain, so that's your decision as chair.
Okay. Okay, well, I guess that motion has carried because Donna didn't have her hand up for either, so it's 3-2. Okay, so the staff has work to do before the April meeting. Thank you, Larry and Carmen, for the motion.
Valerie, Aura is trying to speak.
Yeah, we don't have a motion on the floor anymore, though. So.
Oh, okay. I thought she just had a question. No, I thought she just had a question. So.
Aura?
Sure. So I voted in favor, but my understanding, and that I tried to clarify earlier, and I hope I understood correctly again, is that we've made a motion to possibly do this because we're waiting on information in order to make the decision. Did I clarify and understand that correctly?
Is that how the staff have understood it, Linda?
What I read in the motion is that the board supports disposal, and I'm trying not to just restate it, but how I read it is that the board supports disposal of the property for a nominal fee to the Ashcroft Hub Society, along with possible considerations to ensure that taxpayers and board interests are maintained. So as a staff member, how I read that is that the disposal must support interests of the board and the taxpayers. So those have to be satisfied in order to support the disposal.
Okay, Nancy.
I'm just curious if there is a definition for nominal.
I would suggest that that would be part of the April meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we'll bring this back again in April for further discussion. And aren't you happy, Linda? You can send in a new person. What is her name?
Rudy Rasmussen.
Rudy. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so where are we now? We've made that motion has been passed. The BC School Trustee AGM submissions. BCSTA will review policy positions for submission to BCSTA AGM. And that's Carmen.
I just wanted to remind trustees of our branch motions that we need support for them, and we don't have any motions coming from our board individually, and that the rest of BCSTA report will be happening later in the agenda.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 6.8, electoral area boundary process. We have page 91 to 94. We're looking at, this came up in the previous meetings, but we had fire, now we have COVID. So now we need to take a look at it again. And there was a memo there in our package, and discussion, Linda.
Yeah, so really the context of the discussion is outlined in your agenda, and as co-chair Adrian stated, it was a topic in the 2016-17 school year, and there were 2 areas that at that time the board considered reviewing. trustee electoral rural area D and C, particularly around the community of 16 Mile, and for the village of Ashcroft area, as well as trustee electoral rural area E, and that was to review the boundary location of Venables Valley, Highland Valley, and the Indigenous community of Ashcroft Indian Band. As it was delayed, the topic was brought up again in the 2019-20 school year, and the board agreed at that time to a process that would start in September 2021 in order to meet the timelines of the next local government election in October 2022. So it is here to confirm the timelines starting in September 2021 and the process that is outlined for particularly around the timelines to meet the deadline of the end of December, and for board confirmation for staff to proceed with finalizing this work.
Hi, Vicki. Sorry. I'm glad somebody else is keeping track and letting you know when to come back into the meeting. So for this one, Linda, are we looking for a motion to carry on with the plan, or to, or if the board decides that they don't want to go ahead with it, to set it aside?
You have a motion already in place that this is the structure that you wish to pursue. And so it's here for confirmation, basically, that you would proceed, that you're aware of the process and support staff in proceeding with the timelines. If you did not wish to proceed with it, we would suggest another motion.
Okay. Okay, this was brought forward by Trustee Ranta. Did you have anything to add to this?
The only thing I'm in favor of going out to consultation, but I just want to make sure that we're not locked into like if the consultation is real. In other words, that if people don't like the idea, then are we able to make changes to the plan or withdraw the idea of making changes altogether? Is that kind of how we see the consultation?
Yeah, we go out for feedback in October. The board has a discussion and decision in November around the boundary changes. And if it's approved in November, then we send it off to the ministry.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Yep. Any further discussion, or does anybody not want to go ahead with this? It's already in our plan, so. Seeing none, I guess that's direction to the staff to move forward on this survey, at least start. Advertise communication, potential boundary changes, and opportunity for feedback will be out in September 2021. Okay. 6.9, reducing youth access and exposure to vapor products. This is your up, Vicki.
Okay, I just, yeah, this information came to me, and we've sort of talked about it a little bit before, but it seems like every fourth PAC meeting, there's, the principals are telling us about the increase in vaping. And it always concerns me as it concerns the other parents. And when I received this information recently, I thought, oh, maybe there is something we can kind of indirectly do to help this situation. And then I also received from my regular mailings from Interior Health, the fact that Interior Health youth have the highest incidence of vaping in the province. And so again, I thought, oh my goodness, is there something what we can do? So as governors, there are a few things we can do. And really, I think as a school board, that one of the best things we can do is to probably, you know, write a letter or encourage our local towns to create a more robust vaping tobacco use bylaws or policies within their municipalities and communities. And I just took a quick look to see what was, say, for the village of Ashcroft, for instance, and actually there's no policy on vaping or tobacco use. And another thing that I've noticed locally, members are saying, especially during soccer season, of course we didn't have one this last summer, but during soccer season, parents will often complain about the fact of people using or smoking and or vaping around fields. And as far as I can see, there's actually no bylaw that says you can't be standing out there in the field where children are running around, where youth are playing their games. And so I would like to suggest as a board, I'll just put it out there for discussion, that we ask all of our local municipalities to review any policies or procedures that they have, or to consider adding this in order to reduce the accessibility and the influence of vaping products for our youth.
Okay, so we do have our own policy on this, but you're looking at possibly sending a letter out to meet with and see if we can work with the local municipalities and Indigenous governments then? Okay. Nancy?
Thank you. Sorry, and I thought I read this earlier. I did read through all of your information there, Vicki. Thank you very much for being so thorough. I thought I read somewhere that the province of BC has guidelines as to measurements in and around buildings, play areas, etc., etc. So there is technically guidelines there through the province. Should those not still be enforced? I'm just wondering whether municipalities need it extra.
Yes, there's some, and actually just today there's some more information that came out federally about the inclusion of, or how much nicotine and all of those kinds of rules. So it is getting more and more robust with the, however, within municipalities, they have a significant amount of influence that they can have. For instance, and I don't think I could think of an instance where it's a problem, at least in Ashcroft, but you know, where you put sandwich boards, or where you have the advertisement, or even the accessibility in corner stores. You can have this kind, but you can't have that kind. Those would be local bylaws that your town could make. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, because that's
order.
actually what. Yes. Sorry.
Point of order.
Go ahead, Carmen.
My point of order is we had a motion to write a letter and there was no seconder.
Oh, I didn't realize we
that
had a motion.
That wasn't a motion. We were discussing it. There was no motion. But thanks, Carmen.
Sorry about that. I thought we were just discussing it first. That is my concern, actually.
Oh, that's okay. I would like to get in the speaker queue, please.
Okay, you're up after Nancy.
Okay. That is actually my concern, is because I have been in many small convenience stores in many communities, Clinton being one of them, that the products are right there, readily available right on the counter, and they are the flavored raspberry cinnamon kind that I truly don't believe in. So that's why I was wondering. So thank you for that.
Okay, Carmen, you're up.
Thanks. Okay. This has been a passionate topic for school trustees to discuss for a couple of years now. And personally, I consider vape and vape products highly regrettable health issue that's promoted by big tobacco companies as some kind of safe alternative to cigarettes. We don't know the long-term health impacts yet, but I fear that they will be significant, and health officials warn that they will be. In April 2019, BCSDA AGM passed a motion on vape products, and in October 2019, Provincial Council passed an emergent motion that resulted in communication to our association from the Government of Canada reassuring us that Health Canada was making changes to the marketing rules. However, they recognize vape products as less harmful than combustible smoking products. As we are now in a provincial state of emergency, and I believe that just like the Board of Education and schools and staffs and families, that maybe the timing of acting on the suggestions, which I think are excellent suggestions for our local area. Maybe the timing of making vape and vape products a priority for our board to take action on isn't quite right. I think we need to be sensitive to burdening our local governments with extra expectations coming from us right now. And I think it almost looks insensitive for us to be emphasizing vape and vape reduction and vape concerns when we are actually in a mental health crisis with our youth. And our schools and our staffs are maxed out handling and helping our students right now. And I know that municipalities in many ways are juggling their work in order to manage the pandemic. And I just think right now the timing for this initiative and to take action as a Board of Education, even though we're deeply passionate and our association has done a lot of work on the concerns that trustees have across British Columbia about vape products and the use of them increasing, that right now with the youth mental health crisis, that the timing of this is not correct. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen. Further discussion? Aura?
I was just going to say that it actually seems a good idea to me to go ahead and ask our municipalities to do whatever it is that they can and are able to do to support the initiative. They care about the youth in their communities, you know, in the same way we do as school trustees. If it's something as simple as putting up a sign at a ballpark, or, you know, we can leave it to them what they'd like to do. We can just write a letter and ask them if they're willing to help us with this issue that I'm sure they all recognize. I don't think it has to be a, you know, full charge ahead kind of initiative. Just a simple request to say that we're trying to stop the harmful effects of vaping with children as well. So it's my 2 cents.
Yeah, and I think a simple letter to say, you know, this is a concern that we have. And, you know, right now with COVID, I was actually thinking, you know, with COVID, the students are more and more picking up the cigarettes, picking up the vaping, picking up the drugs too. So I think right now is actually a good time just to say, hey, you know, this is a concern of ours. Can we work together on something? Can your staff work with our staff on something? Can we, would you like to have a Zoom meeting on what you're doing? So, you know, just nothing big, just something small. So I don't know if there's a motion coming out of this, but if there is, let me know. Vicky and Aura. Vicky, then Aura.
I didn't actually put my hand up, but I did want to speak again on this. I saw Nancy with her hand up. Do you want me to say something?
She's ignoring me, so you go ahead first, Vicky.
Okay. Well, I like what Aura and Val just said, and that we just make contact with our local municipalities, and it might be great if local trustees would go to a council meeting or something and just say a bit about that. And really, you know, like Val said, this is a pandemic and things are stressful, and people are turning to alternate forms of whatever it is that they need to get through. And this isn't what we want to happen with our youth, and we don't want to encourage them to go there. And they may be more likely to go there during this stressful time. And woof, I mean, we don't want to encourage that at all. It was already not good before. So I really think this is the time to do that. Not in a way that we're pressuring government authorities to do more work, but just to, you know, love our youth in a way that we can ask our governing authorities to do whatever they can to help do that.
Okay,
so I guess I make a motion. Oh, what?
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I make a motion that we write a letter and that local trustees would present concerns about the rise of youth vaping, asking for a collaborative approach with local municipalities. That's not a very good, I should have drafted something ahead of time, but that gets the idea across anyways. Oh my goodness, Jill, how are you doing? Are you getting this? I can type something in the chat. I'll type it in the chat.
Okay, Nancy, you had your hand up to speak.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Now
I'm
it's
going
Aura's
back
turn.
and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aura reminded me I ignored you. So
Sure, no problem. I was just gonna say, two things. So one, I'll second the motion when we get the version that makes sense. Um, and then the other was, again, I'm looking at this as another opportunity for us. We've talked a little bit at the board table recently about, partnerships and governance to governance conversations. And this seems like a perfect, vehicle for us to exercise that and do that, you know, as a board, speak to our municipalities about an important issue for students. So I just wanted to put that out there.
thank you, Nancy.
Thank you. Finally. Um, First, in speaking to the motion, I would like to just, I'm not particularly fond of that the local trustees present concerns. I would like this letter coming strictly from the Board of Education because we all are, and none of our communities are having their meetings, our councils are having their meetings in public or being able to present to them. So I would just like this letter coming strictly from the Board of Education. And I agree that a simple letter requesting even that local municipalities look at their bylaws and see how we can help and support each other in this step going forward and to try and reduce vaping, because I do know that even the vaping in elementary schools is getting quite high. So that's my opinion.
Okay, the motion is coming up here. Did you see it, Jill? She put it in the chat, I think.
Yeah, we'll just have it there shortly.
Okay. Once we get the wording in there, then we'll do the mover and seconder from there. Okay. Sorry, I can't read it. 1 second. Okay, there we go. 6.9. The motion is that the Board of Education write a letter to municipalities and Indigenous governments expressing the concern of the rise of youth vaping and the ill health effects, and that a collaborative approach be found to reduce youth vaping. That was moved by Vicky and Aura. You'll second that? Okay. Any further discussion, or did you want to open with further info, Vicky? I think we've talked this out already, but go ahead.
No, I just said, oops, I made a spelling error. No, that's
okay.
I just wanted to get the conversation started and see if there be, you know, just get it out there and see if there's anything else we can do to try to reduce that.
Yeah, I agree. It's not all about just policy writing. What else can we do with actions? So I agree. Okay, are there any other comments or questions around the motion? See none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Okay, I can't see everybody. It keeps moving. Okay, there we are. Any opposed? See none, that motion is carried. Did I lose Carmen?
I think we lost Carmen. Yes.
Okay. Okay, that was, thank you for bringing that forward, Vicky. We'll see what we can do in the short term here, maybe even long term. 6.9, that was 6.10, the Hub Online Network Correspondence, page 97 and 98.
I'll just declare my conflict again. I'm just very conflicted today.
You're very conflicted today. Okay. Okay. Linda?
Information is attached to your agenda. During the spring of 2020, the board had several communications with the Hub Online Network about recording of meetings. And at the meeting, I believe in May or June, the board did agree that the filming of open board meetings could occur. And there was a process agreed to where the meetings would be recorded and then posted on the Hub Online's YouTube channel following the meeting or the next morning. Of course, then COVID hit and the board moved to online meetings, and there was some difficulty in the process that had been agreed to. You can see on page 98 of 111, there is additional information received from the Hub Online Network regarding some of the reasons why the changes have occurred, and additional requests to record all public meetings, not just open board meetings, and the process whereby that might occur, which could include going live on Facebook or on YouTube.
Okay, thank you. Discussion? Aura?
So I guess I'm just wondering about the concern, like what is a substantial difference that it might be of any risk to us to have it posted live or posted the next day? I just am not sure I understand the issue.
Was that to address to me?
To anyone that can answer me, but yes, thank you, Linda, that'd be great.
So I believe the difference is that there was an issue from the board's perspective of recording and posting the following day versus a live stream. So there's a difference between a live stream where people are actively watching it through a means of social media versus recording and then a posting. There currently is a way via Zoom for people to participate when they are available during the meeting live through the board process. However, it was not agreed to for another organization to host and stream the board meeting previously.
Okay, because I'm just thinking if it's recorded live, if we allow that live recording, then it's posted later as well. So, yeah, sorry, I don't see any problem with it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't make any difference to me. So, thanks.
Nancy?
And I agree, Aura, it is pretty much the same thing, other than a lot of people are very uncomfortable knowing that it's live right now. Bang, everybody in the country is watching me and all over the world, wherever. It is a very different real scenario, live versus recording. That's my only belief as to the difference. I personally prefer the recorded version rather than going live, but that's just my opinion.
Okay. Any further discussion? Aura?
Are we looking for a decision? Should I make a motion to allow the hub to film us in whichever way it finds most useful or easiest or of benefit? I'm not sure what the word might be.
Yeah.
I'm new to making motions, so I might need some help. Looks like Linda might want to help me.
I was just going to suggest that the clarity would be useful so that everyone is, so the board is clear on what has been agreed to and the hub online is clear on what is, what the board is comfortable with. So a motion would be useful at this point.
Okay, how about if the motion says, the board allows the hub to film both live and post, what would the other be called? Both live stream and recorded. That's my motion.
I just offer that you may want to define what you're willing to have filmed, whether it's your open meetings, because you do other work, and so just a point of consideration.
Great. Do I have to amend my own motion, or can I just fix it first? This is going to get
Yeah,
really
nobody seconded it yet.
Okay.
Nobody has seconded yet.
That the board allow the hub to film us live stream, film our open meetings, live stream and record it.
Okay, need a seconder? Larry? Discussion, open aura.
Just that I don't see any difference, so it makes no difference to me. So I'm happy to have them do it either way.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Okay, that motion is carried. Okay, thank you, Aura, Larry. Okay, 6.11 ST74 meetings. Nancy?
Yes, because we had agreed to do our open meetings and do all of our meetings via Zoom while the winter months were here, and now with PHO orders stating that if you can do your meetings virtually, you should, rather than meeting in person. That is still not safe for everybody to be meeting that many in a room. I also, at our local branch meeting here the other day, in our board chairs discussion, I questioned all of the board chairs, and out of the 9 districts in our branch, none of them will be returning to Zoom or returning to open meetings until PHO orders are lifted. So 3, possibly 4, have already stated that they will not be doing an open meeting in person until September. So just so that we have clarity as going forward, what is the in the best interest of our district, how do trustees feel about carrying on Zoom until provincial orders specify that yes, we can meet with 15 or 20 people, bearing in mind that in some Indigenous communities, they cannot be in a room with 10 people or more, that we may not allow, or we might not have some of our trustees showing up because they wouldn't be allowed from their communities. So it's just a question going forward. How do we want to continue on our board meeting days?
Aura?
Happy to wait for a change in the orders that says that we are able to do so. I'm fine with that.
I'm happy to wait too. I'm one of the communities. If we can't have more than a certain number of people in a room, we have different phases, and when we go to phase 3, I can't have, even for funerals and stuff, we can't have more than 10 people at a funeral. So yeah, we're I'm happy to if somebody wants to put a motion forward to have our meetings from now until September in Zoom, that'll be wonderful. And Nancy?
I'll make that motion that we hold off holding in-person meetings, and I'm going to say until PHO orders allow us to, so that the entire board can attend, or until September when we're if things have lifted since then.
Okay, second, Vicky. Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Thank you, everybody. That motion is carried.
Thank you, everybody.
So, meeting. Thanks, everybody. That takes a load off of me. I was getting worried about being the only one on Zoom. Okay, so we're moving on to number 7. We have information. We have a report from the district management team, page 99 and 100. Do we have district management have anything to? Well, this is information. So was there anything in the information that you'd like clarified or to speak to? I don't see any hands up. That was 7.1.
Aura has her hand up.
Oh, Nancy.
Aura has her hand up.
Aura. Okay. Okay.
Sorry,
Go
quick
ahead,
question.
Aura.
Just around sustainability and the numbers that are projected for the district for the next 3 school years. Can you just remind me how we do that, how we do the projections?
In a normal year,
Sorry, go ahead, Linda.
sorry, I didn't wait for the go. In a normal year, schools consider their current enrollment. It's based on what they know about their local communities. It's based on kindergarten registrations. They project, the grade 12s that will be leaving. They look at those numbers. And so they consider all of that information when they're looking at the numbers for the upcoming years. This year has been unique with the pandemic, and our numbers have been impacted. So schools are, really looking, doing the best they can with the projections, being somewhat conservative so that we don't potentially overstaff if students don't return. So the numbers that you see there are sort of the best case projection at this point and somewhat conservative.
Thank you. Any other comments on 7.1? Seeing none. 7.2 is district enrollment. Any comments or questions on our head count? Nancy?
I just want to say, yay, overall, we're +3.
Okay. 7. Oh,
Aura has it.
I know, every time, sorry, I just had a comment. I always get mixed up in reading these, and I'm looking at the Lillooet Secondary School numbers, and it says we have a head count of 211, but is that the full-time equivalent of only 199 students?
Linda?
Yes, that's correct. So they have 211 students that are registered to attend, but some of them are obviously not taking full course loads, and so they would have a less of a full-time equivalent, which results in a lower FTE.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Okay. See no other questions. 7.3, district management's operational plan monitoring. Annual operational plan. Is this any comments or questions on this one? This is here for information. See none. 7.4, and this is where I'm pretty sure this is where Carmen was going to come in, but she did have a BCSDA Provincial Council report for us.
Yeah, so she just texted me and said she wouldn't be able to come online to give the oral report. So basically what she's provided.
Yeah, so you can see all of the motions that we've provided, that were provided at Provincial Council, and how she voted. So just her response and the vote. And she did vote against the distributed learning one, as did I. So, but that one passed by 80%. So there was no other there was no other real concerns. It's just that we have the budget coming up, and they wanted feedback on a budget. We have a deadline for that, but I'm not quite sure when it is. It should be on one of these reports. Finance and audit. Any feedback be sent to BCSD at Jody Olstead. So if you want to take a look at the finance side, we didn't see anything when we were when we were getting the presentation, and they did a good presentation. So, Nancy.
No, I'm good. I was going to ask a question about the voting, but that's okay. I don't need to.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? See none. We have info pack. Is there anything in the info pack that you wanted to bring forward either now or for the next meeting to discuss? See none. Motion to adjourn. Nancy. Nancy and Aura. Okay. So we have adjournment and we have question period now. Linda, you're setting that up, or Teresa, somebody setting that up?
There is the question and answer box is available. And I also see that Juanita Little has a question in the chat. And Juanita, you would like to speak to that? So we will enable your microphone.
Hi there.
Hi, Juanita.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thanks for the discussion on about the hub. Thanks, Larry, for reiterating and acknowledging the feedback from the community. I think it was so, again, overwhelming for our hub to hear about how the hub has been impacted by the community and how we meet the needs of the communities. And I think that's what the community consultation process was to go, what does the community want and what do they want to do with that building? In considering, I guess part of my other question is, in considering the sale of the other property, Spencer's Bridge, Clinton, you know, that was gone for a nominal fee. So I guess I don't see with this, to sell this for the nominal fee, a difference into the buildings from one community to another, and why that is considered more of a different process here than those ones. And I'd also like to just put out Brad Viss, the letter that he sent referencing transferring the building to the hub, but he was also giving us support for our quest for funding with the provincial and federal governments, and that's through investing in the Canada Infrastructure Fund, which is a grant that we've applied for our hub to help with infrastructure, to help with the roof on the hub. It's not to be able to give us money to buy the building or anything like that. It's to support our grant application that we have put in through the infrastructure. I just wanted to clarify on that point.
Okay. Were you able to answer that question, Linda? The difference between the Clinton and which one was it? Clinton and Venables, was it?
I guess Clinton, Spencer's Bridge, all of those ones have gone always for a nominal fee. So I guess I see it a bit of a difference, that not going to consider that as well for the Ashcroft property.
Nancy?
I just want to clarify that Clinton did not go for a nominal fee. Clinton was Crown land, and it was returned back to the government. So there was nothing, Clinton did not benefit at all from the release of our property. The seniors home was applied through government, from government to government. There was no nominal fee. There was no nothing. Clinton did not get anything for the school.
Thanks, Nancy.
You're looking for additional information from me?
Yes, please, Linda.
All right. And so, you know, it's a bit of a difficult question to answer, because every situation has been unique. So Co-Chair Rempel has addressed the Clinton situation, and there have been both cases where the property has been sold for market value in some communities and recognition of a particular situation. I think Spence's Bridge was referenced. That again was a unique situation where there was a community organization that was in it. The board recognized at the time that there was likely a very low market value that could be achieved in that case. So, you know, there's all different situations. With the Spence's Bridge property, although it was sold for a nominal fee, there was an addition to it of a right of first refusal. So if the property came up for sale, or if there was a decision by the organization for a property to be sold, they would have to come back to the board and first ask the board if they wanted the property returned. So although, as an example of Spence's Bridge, there was a nominal fee to a community organization, the board did retain the right legally to have access to that property at a future time if they so wish. So in other situations like Lillooet, the properties were sold for market value, as been referenced earlier today. So each situation is unique and depends on the context.
Thank you, Linda. Any other questions? Were there any other questions there, Linda? No? Okay. Well, thank you everybody for joining us, and this was a good meeting. It's now 3:30, and I think we made it through a big agenda in a short period of time. Aura.
I just see that someone, oh, I thought I saw something in the chat from someone, but, oh yeah, there is a question there. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, I just saw that someone had a question, so.
So the question is, what assurances would there be that any profit made from the sale of the AES property accruing to SD 74 would be kept in Ashcroft?
Nancy?
Oh,
Sorry.
I can't see you, but you can see me. I'm just gonna say, would that not come to the board later on in budget discussions as to whether that kept there or not? Okay, that's where we can discuss it more then, because I don't believe that it should be stayed in Ashcroft. Okay.
Okay, that was the last question. Okay, so we're adjourned, and I guess for us, we're moving back into policy. And can we take a quick 15-minute break?